1972, as Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 took off from Montevideo, carrying the Old Christians rugby team, their families and supporters. They were headed to Chile for a match, their spirits high with dreams of victory. Little did they know fate had other plans. High in the Andes Mountains, the aircraft encountered severe turbulence. The plane, buffeted by fierce winds, was forced lower and lower. Suddenly, a deafening crash echoed through the mountains as the plane slammed into a remote, snow-covered peak. The impact ripped the fuselage apart, scattering debris across the glacial slopes. Inside, chaos reigned as passengers were thrown violently about. Some lost consciousness instantly, while others awoke to a scene of unimaginable horror. The once familiar cabin was now a mangled wreck of metal and ice, filled with the cries of the injured and the groans of the dying. The world they knew had vanished in an instant, replaced by a desolate wilderness of snow and ice. Dazed and disoriented, the survivors slowly regained their senses. The crash had left them stranded on a desolate mountainside at over 11,000 feet. The air was thin and bitterly cold, the silence broken only by the howling wind. The survivors faced a daunting task: to survive in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. Injured and traumatized, they huddled together amidst the wreckage, desperately seeking warmth and comfort. The initial days were a blur of pain, shock, and grief. The harsh reality of their situation slowly began to sink in as they realized the gravity of their predicament. They were stranded on a remote mountain, miles from civilization, with little food, water, or hope of rescue. The will to live, however, burned brightly within them. They knew they had to find a way to survive, to cling to hope against all odds. The survivors worked tirelessly to free those trapped within the wreckage. They used pieces of the shattered fuselage to create makeshift shelters, providing some protection from the relentless elements. Food and water were scarce. They rationed the meager supplies they could salvage from the plane, their bodies growing weaker with each passing day. As days turned into nights, the survivors listened intently for any sign of rescue, any indication that the outside world knew of their plight. But the mountains remained silent. The harsh reality of their isolation gradually dawned upon them. They were alone, stranded in a frozen wasteland, their fate hanging precariously in the balance. The initial hope of a swift rescue began to dwindle, replaced by the stark realization that they were on their own. This realization marked a turning point in their ordeal. They could no longer rely on the outside world for salvation. Their survival depended entirely on their own resourcefulness, resilience, and unwavering determination. They had to adapt to their unforgiving environment, to find strength within themselves they never knew they possessed. The group dynamic shifted from passive waiting to active problem solving. They established a system of shared responsibilities, each survivor contributing to their collective survival. They melted snow for drinking water, rationed their meager food supplies with meticulous care, and worked tirelessly to improve their shelter and living conditions. The will to survive knows no bounds, and the survivors of Flight 571 were a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. Faced with unimaginable hardships, they refused to surrender to despair. They drew strength from each other, their bonds of friendship and camaraderie deepening in the face of adversity. They found solace in shared memories, in songs and in stories, their spirits refusing to be broken by the unforgiving wilderness that surrounded them. As the days turned into weeks, the survivors faced their greatest challenge yet: starvation. The meager rations salvaged from the plane had long since dwindled to nothing. The gnawing hunger was relentless, their bodies growing weaker with each passing day. It was then, faced with the stark choice between death and survival, that they made a decision that would forever alter their lives. In a desperate attempt to survive, they made the agonizing decision to consume the bodies of their deceased companions. It was a decision born of necessity, a testament to their unwavering will to live. They knew it was the only way to provide their bodies with the sustenance they desperately needed to continue their fight for survival.